Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving deep into one of the most influential dystopian novels of the 20th century, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And more specifically, we're going to explore the character of John, the Savage. Through John's journey, we'll unravel some of the most profound philosophical questions about freedom, human nature, and the meaning of life. But before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos on philosophy and literature. Now let's step into the world of Huxley's Brave New World. To understand John, we first need to look at his place in the novel. John, often called the Savage, is the outsider, the misfit in both the world-state society and the Native American reservation where he was born. He grew up reading Shakespeare and learning about life through old books, but also absorbing the myths and rituals of the reservation. This dual upbringing is crucial to his character, because it sets up his inner conflict between the civilized world of the world state and the more natural world he comes from. John is a character caught between two worlds. He embodies the idea of the noble savage, a concept famously explored by the philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Rousseau believed that humans were born pure, uncorrupted by society. It's only when they enter civilization that they become tainted. In many ways, John represents this philosophy. He grew up outside the influence of the world state's oppressive, highly controlled society. His beliefs, his emotions, and his sense of identity are shaped by something more raw, more primal, and more human. Let's talk about one of the central themes in Brave New World, the tension between freedom and control. John stands as a symbol of human freedom. He craves the ability to make his own choices, to experience suffering, joy, love, and ultimately, death. But when he enters the world state, he encounters a society that has sacrificed these fundamental experiences in the name of stability and happiness. Philosophically, the world state is a utilitarian society. Its goal is to maximize pleasure and minimize pain for everyone. But John resists this. One of the most memorable scenes is when he rejects the drug named Soma, which symbolizes the shallow, artificial happiness the world state offers. He exclaims, "I don't want comfort. I want God. I want poetry. I want real danger. I want freedom. I want goodness. I want sin." This moment is key because John expresses a deeply existential philosophy here. The idea that life's meaning comes not from constant comfort, but from struggle, from the richness of human experience. John's refusal to conform is a powerful statement. It reflects existentialist ideas from philosophers like Søren Kierkegaard and Friedrich Nietzsche. Existentialism is about confronting the absurdity of life and asserting one's own will in the face of it. Kierkegaard, for instance, believed that life is full of contradictions, and it's only through making personal, often painful choices that we can live authentically. John's choice to reject the easy pleasures of the world state, even though it leads to his suffering, is an existential one. He wants to be authentic, even if it means enduring pain. Let's take a moment to talk about the emotional impact of the book, because Huxley didn't just create a sterile dystopia, he also crafted a deeply human tragedy, especially through John. One of the most heartbreaking moments is the scene where John tries to connect with Lenina, a woman from the world state. He's in love with her, but his concept of love, based on Shakespearean ideals of romance, loyalty, and passion, clashes violently with the shallow, promiscuous culture of the world state. John wants love to be meaningful. He's looking for a deep spiritual connection. But in the world state, love has been reduced to just another form of pleasure, something devoid of meaning. The tension in this scene is gut-wrenching. John's heartbreak here highlights a philosophical question about the nature of love. Is it an act of giving yourself fully to another person, as John believes? Or is it just a fleeting experience, a commodity, as it is in the world state? Philosophers like Martin Buber talked about love as an I-thou, relationship, a sacred, profound meeting between two souls. Buber contrasts this with the I-it, relationship where we treat others as objects, things to be used. John's tragedy is that he wants an I-thou, relationship in a society that only offers I-it, relationships. He's trying to find real connection in a world that has forgotten what connection even means. As we move towards the end of the novel, we see John descending into despair. After being confronted with the empty, superficial nature of the world state, he isolates himself, trying to purify his soul by punishing his body. This is perhaps one of the most intense and moving parts of the novel. John's self-flagellation isn't just about pain, it's about seeking redemption. It's a symbolic act, a desperate attempt to reclaim his humanity. Here, Huxley is exploring the relationship between suffering and meaning, a theme that resonates with the ideas of philosophers like Viktor Frankl. Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, argued that meaning in life often comes through suffering. In Man's Search for Meaning, he writes, in some ways, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning, such as the meaning of a sacrifice. John's suffering is, in a way, his final attempt to find meaning in a meaningless world. He believes that through this suffering, he can purify himself, reconnect with something real, something true. But here's the heartbreaking truth. John's search for meaning ultimately destroys him. The novel ends with John's tragic suicide, a powerful statement about the impossibility of finding meaning in a society that has stripped it away. This ending leaves us with heavy questions. Can we find meaning in a world that prioritizes comfort over depth? Is suffering necessary for us to be truly human? And what happens when society erases the very things that make life worth living? So, what does John the Savage teach us? At the core, he represents the struggle for authenticity in a world that values conformity. He teaches us that true freedom comes not from comfort and security, but from the ability to choose, even if that choice leads to pain or suffering. He reminds us that love, art, and even suffering are what give life its richness. And perhaps most importantly, John shows us the dangers of a world that has abandoned the messy, difficult parts of human existence in exchange for shallow happiness. As we reflect on Brave New World and John's tragic journey, we're left with an important question. What kind of world do we want to live in? One that prizes comfort above all else? Or one that embraces the full spectrum of human experience, the highs, the lows, the love, the pain? This is the question Huxley leaves us with, and it's one we'll be asking ourselves for generations to come. Thank you for joining me on this journey through philosophy and literature. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you think about John's struggle. Can we live meaningful lives in a world that seeks to eliminate suffering? I'll see you in the next video.